Hi Scorpio, welcome to your end of October 2018 love reading. It's Rena here. I've never done this before, and the reason I'm doing this is because I'm kind of just experimenting with a very short type of spread that's kind of short and sweet, and just trying to see if by changing a little bit of the spread, if it gives a different flavor. And trying to incorporate people that are single as well as in relationships based upon the, you know, the position of the cards. Sorry, I've got a flu, so I'm kind of spaced out. So I think it's only going to be like 4 or 5 cards in this spread. And I'm using the Wild Unknown deck, but I'm not laying out any of the cards. I just have it in my hand. I've been shuffling here, and I won't look at it because I got a card that if I look at it, I'll know which one it is. So I have to hold on to these cards. Okay, interesting. So this is a card that symbolizes your love life at the moment. We have the Son of Pentacles in reverse, which relates to the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. So this is a card associated with possibly an earth sign. Taurus is your opposite sign. Virgo, Capricorn, these are the 3 earth signs. And this person may be irresponsible, and this person may be someone who has a tendency to look to other people to kind of, you know, take care of them. So it could be like, you know, the Son of Pentacles. There's a definite male energy because this is connected to the Knight of Pentacles. This is the same thing. So this could be like a man who is not handling money well. And in a relationship, that's one of the biggest sources of friction that you probably know about. So that could be causing problems in and of itself. And so if you're somebody who's single, who doesn't have anybody in your life, do you tend to attract people like this? Scorpio is a sign, you know, it's kind of funny because I don't see Scorpio in and of itself as a sign that tends to be like overly enabling of others. And there's almost like this kind of harshness sometimes with Scorpio, where it's like, you know, hey, life's a bitch and then you die, kind of an attitude, because it's that ferocity that you have gone through possibly a lot yourself, and it's like you don't want to hear any whining. You don't like weakness in yourself or others. So you're not trying to hear that. And if somebody is acting like, oh, I can't get a job because of this, or, you know, I'm being kept down, you're not really going to buy their sob story. However, it's possible that some of you have a tendency to go after those types of people because of other aspects in your chart that, like if you have the moon in Pisces, that's an example where, or even Cancer, where you kind of baby a man. And not all Scorpios are as together in their relationships. That can be the challenging part of their lives, is the personal relationship area. So even though you stand for a lot of strength and stuff, you may have this kind of a vulnerable spot where your relationships tend to be you being a caretaker to others. Now, the other thing too is, this is also about any irresponsibility. I mean, it's possible that this is on your end, but I really feel like this is in the realm of relationships. So even if you're in between relationships, you might say to yourself, well, I want to avoid that type of person, and then somehow you end up with them anyway. And you're like, how did this happen again? And this is a card that represents, what you need to work on in order to deal with the situation better. And this is also in the reversed position, but we can read it. I'm going to show it to you upright. We can read it in a way, well, I guess I should put it how it was, right? You can look at that as, that's a Queen of Swords, the Mother of Swords. So you can look at this as a situation of, I best describe this as a wounded animal. That if somebody has had a lot of hurt in their life, that they tend to lash out. And the Mother of Swords in reverse is the worst, qualities of a woman in terms of the way that they talk to others and the way that they, it's mainly with communication because it's swords. We're not talking about other areas, but that sense of cutting people down, and that might be part of the dynamic too, of wanting somebody weaker than you so that you can control them, and then despising that weakness and putting them down. And that's not something to get into, because it keeps you from that intimacy, it keeps you from that love. And yet you might say, I have the perfect excuse because this person is a good for nothing, and not really seeing another person's good qualities, perhaps being too materialistic. And maybe that Son of Pentacles in reverse is you, and you are looking at people, judging them too much by that criterion. And when I was saying a wounded animal, I think a fair number of Scorpio people have been hurt. This is where the trust issues come in. And so this is something that has to be healed. And keeping people at bay with your sharp tongue is not the way to go about it. You may feel kind of empowered. You may feel like you have the upper hand, but you're degrading yourself if you ever do anything like that. And that can, and you'll feel so much better about yourself if you don't succumb to that temptation. The advice is the Temperance card, which can be anything from needing to lay off the sauce, drinking or other addictions that can create bad judgment and lead to a loose tongue. Loose lips sink ships. Temperance, though, is moderation. And Scorpio is a very extreme sign. When I say these things, this is not, that's bad. Scorpio's extreme, although I do think that being extreme definitely has its challenges. I think that one thing that I like about Scorpios is that they tend to stand for something. They tend to, come hell or high water, they are themselves, and they don't apologize for it. And I love that quality, because you know what? Even if, I mean, we all have things that we need to work on, but to be like ashamed or acting or apologize for your flaws and probably not really deal with them isn't superior to somebody who's like, yeah, I'm like this, I own it, and when I'm ready, I'm going to change. But it's like, it may take you a long time to do that, because there may be other factors involved, you know, because you're a fixed water sign. You can really get fixated or obsessed on a certain relationship, even if you know that it's problematic. There's something about it that hooks you in. Temperance is about more detachment. It's about healing your life, even if it's just in a general sense. Again, with anything related to addictions and trauma issues, by healing them in general. And it could be trauma surrounding death, a death of somebody when you were young, and you think that it's a separate issue than relationships. Oh, no, it isn't. It can really lead to somebody who's afraid of being abandoned when they're and they can act really tough. You know, Scorpios can act really tough, but sometimes when they're alone, they may really feel the brunt of all of that emotion, like kind of, you know, like a flooding in on them. So a Scorpio person can never really be, in general that is, too out of touch with their own feelings. Eventually they have to face it. But they, you know, I think there's a certain dignity with Scorpio that I admire, even in the ferocity of it all. You know, a certain courage. What's coming in is represented by the Judgment card. So this is about cause and effect, and this is always about cause and effect. If you're single and looking, and you are like, why am I still single? You might be in your 40s, and you might be saying, I've never had a relationship that I really feel is something that ultimately I would look at as this healthy relationship or this long-term relationship. And I want that for myself. And why haven't I had it? Well, in some cases you may not have been able to trust, and that you did not give all of yourself to that other person. You kind of hid it away. And so not only does a person not get to know you fully, but they also don't get to sympathize with you, because sometimes the Scorpio may edit their life. They might only give the parts that make them feel powerful, but kind of avoid those other things because you're always afraid. It's like you're a consummate chess player. You're always looking to like 3 moves ahead. And is this person going to use this against me? The Judgment card can literally be about divorce proceedings. So with the Knight of Pentacles in reverse, this could be the person that you're getting divorced from, who you've had to pretty much support all this time, and it really, you're just tired of it. You're tired of the irresponsibility and things like that. And yeah, the Judgment card is about rebirth. So, you know, we're talking about the end of October, so it's your solar return. And you know, the full moon is on October 24th in Taurus, right? So that's your opposite sign. So that is 7th house matters coming to a head, coming to, in some cases, conclusion. But whatever it is, what it is. Whatever happens is for the best. And the outcome, Son of Wands, which is Knight of Wands. You see that, I think they're trying to kind of show the sun in all of those lines. I love this deck for some of the illustrations. Some of them I'm always left scratching my head. Like, how did they what made them do it like that. But this one I really like because the wands relate to fire energy. So we say the burst of sun, very positive. But Knight of Wands can be meeting somebody who's or if you've already met this person of the fire element, or if it's not the sun sign, then they have it prominent. The rising sign, if you're just meeting them, the rising sign is what pops out usually. So we're talking about Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. They have a zest for living. They're very you're partial to Leos because you're both fixed signs, and squares tend to irritate and attract all in one. And so this person may be dynamic. They may have this I don't know, an aura around them that's very if you're a woman who's attracted to men, this could be a very virile kind of a guy. I mean, the King of Wands is probably the ultimate in that sense, but the Knight of Wands is the younger version, or the more, if you want to call it, immature version, but I mean, chronologically younger, but also, more youthful. Even if they're older, they could be youthful. And I think it's associated with Sagittarius, but I associate it with Aries. Any fire energy that comes into your life. And this card is specifically associated with someone who may be playing the field. So, so I don't know if you're jumping out of the, what is it? Jumping into the fire out of the skillet, or what? But whatever's going on, I mean, you might feel like at this time, especially with that Judgment card, that you're not interested in getting into a heavy relationship right now. You're just out for some fun. So it might feel like that's your rebirth, is that you're wanting some kind of like a moratorium on these heavy relationships. And this would be especially true if you are getting a divorce, or the divorce decree comes in. So the key is that to just be honest with yourself. If you can't handle an affair, if you can't handle just having a fun time with somebody that is not necessarily going to lead to anything, then don't even go there. But this person may be hard to resist. That's the point. So, oh well. I'm sure some people will enjoy it. And, okay, Scorpio, that's what I have for you. And if you'd like a private reading, the link is below. Have a great rest of October. Bye.